Greetings, everybody. Welcome once more to the Dracovin Empire. Are you ready to dive back into Golarion, the setting of the Pathfinder role-playing game system? Because if you are ready to head to Golarion, I, your host and guide here, Dracovin, can open up a powerful portal and gateway through the universe, through time, space, and everything to Golarion, where we can visit today's location, the Thanelands within the Linnorm Kingdoms. Are ready for this journey, this harrowing and dangerous journey? Take my hand. Take it. But I will require a little bit of tip before we leave. On YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Let me know you like the video. And let me know if you've had any experience with the Thanelands. Comments below. Golarion awaits. We head north to the lands of the Linnorm Kingdoms, to the Thanelands. Are you prepared? Take my hand. We go. A harrowing trip, though quick. And now we have arrived in the Linnorm Kingdoms once more. In the Thanelands, the true heart of this place, the place that has in certain ways been its capital, been where the High Kings rule, Kalasgar. If I were to learn more, some few extra locations, a few more details, what sources would I use? What information could I glean about this beyond my words? Linnorm Kings book is a very good book on this. It does provide a lot of basic information on all the kingdoms, and of course, the Thanelands. And the same could be said for the World Guide. The World Guide is a little bit more sparse, but does provide a view in the second edition. The Thanelands. Now, this is the crest of the Linnorm Kingdoms as a whole. But the Thanelands are, in a way, the core of the Linnorm Kingdoms. Though truly not a capital anyway, as all the Linnorm Kingdoms are on their own, each individual kingdoms. The Thanelands is the beating heart of their society in many ways. Having Kalasgar, the de facto capital of the entire lands, in them, where all the various high kings and rulers that have seemingly conquered all the lands or been close to it ruled from. It's where this confederacy of monarchies basically would meet, where if there ever is a need for a high king, one will sit. That is the Thanelands. It's important to know these facts. Now, its current ruler, which we'll talk about a little bit more, is the daughter of the one you will read about if you go into the Linnorm Kingdoms book. Thryra Asheyes, daughter of Svenin Bloodeagle, who recently retired as of 4719, 6 years ago. Regardless, it is the bleeding heart of the entire lands in many ways, because it is prosperous, powerful. It's the heartland. So keep that in mind as we talk about it today. It is truly the heart. There's Svenin. Now, we will talk about Thryra a little bit, but we should talk about, and we'll talk about Svenin's rule, because Svenin basically influenced how the kingdom is ruled. But we should talk about the history of the Thanelands, because it arcs back to the history in many ways of the Linnorm Kingdoms. The first true Linnorm king, Sigeboard Armsfang, who founded Kalasgar, founded the lands of the Linnorm Kings, ruled from Kalasgar in -624. This is over 5,000 years ago. Sigehorn's descendants ruled for some time. We know of other important individuals. Uvlas, who broke the line of Sagehorn's clan and conquest of Kalasgar. Olaf Heinsberg, who was the High King for only a year, who conquered all of the land save for Broken Bay and Ironbound Isles. We know that there was various civil wars that rocked the reign until Jarl Storm Sunbait basically had a bloody reign as a Jarl in the early AR, 10 to 25, before he bloodily died. And then we know that then there was multiple Linnorm Kingdoms the kings that ruled, and various rulers. Basically a tumultuous period. And we can see by these little historical beats that, like many of the Thanelands, the Ulfen people tend to have a tumultuous history. And then Sabin came in power. We'll talk about Sabin. We'll talk about this man when we talk about him and his daughter. Because again, when Pathfinder was first published, he ruled. He retired and let his didn't let his daughter. She killed a Linnorm. She earned her place. She really did. But yes, this is the eldest and most powerful of all the Linnorm kingdoms, led by the eldest of the Linnorm Kings. So, all right, let's talk about the Thanelands. In many ways, we have to also talk about Seven and the land he left before his daughter. Seven was a fairly just leader overall. Pretty kind to his subjects, a fatherly figure, powerful, eldest of the Linnorm Kings before he retired. He expanded the Thanelands' influence, a lot of trade with the south, a lot of trade over the crown of the world with Yanzi. He took over certain areas, the Dwarven copper mines of Copperbark, much to Opier Eight Fingers' dislike. But yes, his kingdom was just more than Kaliskar. The various villages there, either on the coast of the Arcadian Ocean, along the Rhine flow, the lands, the Rhine River in the south, very fertile. This is a place that has very harsh winters, a temperate climate in the summer, that has an adequate growing season. The villages are fortified with wooden palisades, stone walls, the common folk that know to get inside before dark. The Rhine River having a bunch of fish, even though there's very large, aggressive ones that are there. Carnivorous fang-mouthed traps, giant guards, that can make it a bit of a challenge to fish. The very surplus of the villages making their way to Kaliskar, making their way to trade. These are the people of Thanelands. They make out and eke a very humble life. There are some isolated villages near the Gungir forest, where you can have loggers and trappers. People that take on the aspect of animals at night, and the full moon especially. Nature spirits that are around. This is the land of the Thanelands. In just a quick nutshell. Let's talk about the rulers. So, here's the thing, and here's the situation that our good madam here, Thryra, has stepped into. Now, Thryra has ruled for 6 years. We'll talk about Thryra for a second here, but we do want to paint the picture of what Thryra is stepping into for these 6 years. So, Svenin, he wanted to go to Valenhall, take a trip over to Arcadia, the paradise of that, the retirement community for powerful Ulfen warriors. But he wanted a powerful hero to take over. He had all his children, but none really seemed to want to get the throne. And there was plenty of people vying for his control. There was always jokes about who would take over. And it would be easier for someone to slay Linnorm, or basically convince him that they're just worthy of taking over as a Jarl, rather than a true king. It came in the form of his daughter. And we do have to tell you, you've seen it in my other videos, the Ulfen people, though aren't dissuasive of women being warriors, they traditionally are a lot less basically in that position. So Thryra here basically took over. And she claimed her throne in the traditional manner. She slayed a Linnorm. Yep. She went out. She's a Magus. May I note too. And basically, yes, she has plenty of siblings. But yeah, she's raised in the shadow of her father. She's never the tallest or strongest child. But she made up with intelligence and magic as a Magus. And she was dismissed as a cheater or witch. But Svenin was interesting because he could see the potential in Thrywer and always recognized her as the most capable. And that's one of those things is it shows that Svenin was a good father in a lot of ways. As you know, as much as her siblings, hark her up for not being a true full warrior, someone using magic, intelligence. When her father announced his intention to depart, her siblings began to squabble for power. And so when she saw this, she basically was like, F this, we're going to do it my way. She went out there, she claimed the head of a Linnorm, a powerful crag Linnorm. She, of course, met with and gained some guidance. Nanko, the Varki Ranger, who became the first non-Ulfen Linnorm King. She reached her prey's lair. She was tempted to cut off its head while it slept, but fought it in a fair fight. After several days, she dragged the Linnorm's head through the streets, amidst disbeliefs of cheating and witchcraft, and basically claimed her thrigs, and basically threw her siblings to the side. Particularly her most oldest, Uldren Orcsbane, the eldest and most ambitious. So, looked down upon in a lot of ways for using magic, though she was a magus, so she mixed magic and sword. But she was wise and intelligent. She gained wisdom from the Linnorm King. And she did, basically, an important thing of, she fought her prey in an honorable fight that, earns the respect of her people in many ways. But that's where she is in the position she is. And it's one of those things is you're not going to get people trying to assassinate her, per se. They're smart about it. She has her position for now. You can see the Thanelands on this map. It's the kind of center point. It is the core of the Linnorm Kingdoms. This area, it can be perilous. In the north, trolls, giants, Linnorms, wild predatory animals like wolves and bears, reindeer, aurochs, primeval beasts, cave bears, rhinoceros, saber-toothed tigers, mammoths that sometimes exist in these areas, especially up north. Various types of giants, the taiga giants, which are more peaceful, while frost giants and the various creatures that they control through force, slave, basically having their own strongholds in Stormspear Mountains and being a threat. And of course, sometimes from Hag's Reach, creatures like ice trolls can manage to find their way from Irson, kind of getting even as far as the Thanelands, making them dangerous at night to travel. But much of the area is civilized. Let's talk about the very cities. Now, we will talk about Kalsgard here, but as I like to, I'll leave the capital for last. Alsamfir, a coastal village known for its whaling. They hunt whales, particularly right and bowhead whales. Sometimes sperm whales, too. They will keep and not hunt blue whales or humpbacks because their whaling method requires them to harpoon the creature and bring it back. And these other ones those two tend to sink first, being hard to capture. So the docks are ready to basically process whales, but they're also covered in flop houses, brothels, squalid waterside taverns that basically call whale hunters their home. And these dry docks are basically good for whaling vessels, and they process all the things. They boil the blubber for various uses, oil, clean, dry. They oil boil blubber down into oil, clean and dry whale bones to use, extract various substances like baleen and ambergris. They use whale meat, which is a popular food there. So they do process the whales into everything, is the only thing to say, too. But it's not without threat. At least during 4711, there was a mysterious, powerful narwhal hunting ships. So there were stories of ships that managed to survive, but with deep gashes in their bottoms that had to be repaired from this immense, powerful narwhal hunting whaling ships particularly those of the Thanelands, and maybe not from those of the other Linnorm kingdoms. Perhaps this beast has seen them as taking too many ways. Or perhaps something different. Who knows for sure? Ice Fairy we'll talk about briefly, because it's both a city and not. It's basically part of Kalasgard, but also not part of Kalasgard. It's opposite the, basically, banks of the Rhineflow River from Kalasgard. And it's kind of a small town with a lot of gnomes that live there, that navigate the parts of the Rhineflow River and offer their services. They kind of see them as independent, but they really kind of aren't, so they're under the Kalasgard banner. They also have a Linnorm hunt, which is a mock Linnorm hunt, where they have adults dress up as Linnorms and the children hunt them down, kind of a hide-and-seek kind of thing. Little adorable kind of event that they do have. Turvik is a fortified town in the north. Probably one of the northern outposts of the Thanelands, basically connecting up the crown of the world, where the path of, I always butcher this name, Agahe, ends up on the side of it, on the Avestan side of things. So this is a place where there is a lot of people in this fortress that connect up across there. The thing is, Turvik is a fortress. It's supposed to guard this entrance. And the garrison's interesting there because it's made up of those people that are dishonored and basically going there to be punished, or those people that just want to go there and forget. While it guards the path, and there's a couple of various Avestan travelers and TNZ travelers that have made their way there in this fortress that's kind of half fortress, half trading post that kind of enters in there. It's also a place just to drink and be away from it. Just to be alone. Ullerskrad, the heart of the Thanelands in a lot of ways. It's a trade hub. It's on the Rhineflow. Lumber, grain, livestock, and a lot of goods pass by there before going downstream. Basically, the richest Ulfen merchants live there. Housecarls of the Ulfen Guard, who protect the Emperor of Taldor, also retire to here. So you've got expensive merchants and housecarls retiring there. There's hunting lodges where they hunt boar and other popular animals in nearby forests. Wolves can sometimes be a problem, but large monstrous dangers don't really happen here in Ulfsrskald. So it's a relatively peaceful town overall. There's a large temple of Gorum, small stands of trees that are basically important here to talk about, though, that are stands beside the temple. Each is hung with the cadavers of various sacrifices, bodies of hounds, horses that hang alongside the corpses of enemies on these trees next to the temple of Gorum. Yeah. At the center of the tree is a massive yew tree, which branches remain green even in summer and winter. And there's a sacred stream that the priest holds great sacrificial ceremony there in the spring equinox. A pleasant place to visit. So yes. So those are your 4 other cities I can talk about beyond Kalasgard. We can talk about Kalasgard. So Kalasgard, largest, oldest settlement in the entire kingdoms. It is the largest by far of the kingdoms by at least 3 times to the next large city in the entire Linnorm kingdoms. That's how big it is. 3 times the size of the next biggest city. It's also cosmopolitan mix. It's got Ulfens, Tians, dwarfs, gnomes, traders from the south, people coming in from the north and south alike. If you are an outsider, a non-Ulfen, you'll be welcomed. Oh, hey, you're coming here for trade? Great, welcome. And there's a lot of Tians that have made up there. There's a place called the Jade Quarter amongst the waterfront. Its shipyards have some of the finest Ulfen longships in the kingdoms. So it's a very impressive place. The various areas of Kalasgard are, I can tell you the different districts here, because it's 9 districts. The Amber Quarter, Bone Quarter, Fire Quarter, Horn Quarter, Ice Quarter, Ivory Quarter, Jade Quarter, which we talked about there, Oak Quarter, and Stone Quarter. There's also an undercity known as the Undercroft, home to many dwarfs. We can go into a little bit of the quarters here, just to give you a basic idea of Kalasgard before we end today. Hey, you know what? we know a little bit about each of them, and we can talk about them. The Amber Quarter, of course, is the de facto capital in a lot of ways. It's the product manufacturing that dominates the quarter. A lot of industries that conglomerate in the strip. Jewelers are also big here. And there's a lot of very expensive jewelry. And a lot of designs here incorporate patterns and monstrous creatures. Amber, ivory, and jet are the two big main commodities there. Bone Quarter, poor and unemployed are there. And basically any kind of caravans that move in and out. The Fire Quarter, home to entertainment, taverns, brothels, and some Ulfen-style wrestling halls and athletic courts. This strata separates from the Ice Quarter by Ravnia's Run, a stream that flows from the Rhineflow. Flows into the Rhineflow. The Horn Quarter is where a lot of farmers are. The Ice Quarter is basically a shopping center. A lot of, rather than manufacturing, it's a lot of shopping and basically selling a lot of things that come in and out there. The Ivory Quarter is different than the last quarter, as it is the business hub, but it's not the shop hub. You go to a store, buy something, go to the Horn Quarter. Again, Amber Quarter is making a lot of stuff there, but the Horn Quarter, you're going to go shopping. Going there for business, you go to the Ivory Quarter. Big merchant companies and things like that. Trading out of the place. The Jade Quarter, of course, home to many of the teen migrants, who are from particularly Minkai. The Oak Quarter is where lumber arrives upriver, and ships are built. That's where the shipyards are. And of course, the Stone Quarter, it's smiths. So the other manufacturing quarter. But there you go. There's Kalsgard. There's the Thanelands. Again, the Thanelands are, in a lot of ways, the heart of the lands of the Linnorm Kings. I did my video about the overall lands, but when we kind of talk about this, this is diving into the essence of what is Ulfen, in a lot of ways, and what is the Linnorm Kingdoms. It's not everything. And talking about each of these individual kingdoms is important. I hope you've just enjoyed diving into all of them. And especially this one, which is very interesting because it is the one that has had a very deep history for this entire region. And it still will in the future. It is, in many ways, the heart of the Linnorm Kingdoms. And that will never change. I hope you enjoyed diving into and learn all about it. Well, that'll be it for today. Make sure to check out the rest of my stuff, whether on YouTube or Twitch. If you're joining me live on Twitch, you can always see these videos recorded over there. You can also join for video games, games with friends, just chatting, all those kind of different things. It's a fun kind of hangout kind of time. But if you just want to see the tabletop stuff, you don't want to kind of join me live, you can always check out all tabletop stuff. It's uploaded on YouTube. I might do a VOD channel for all the non-tabletop stuff at some point in time. Haven't done it yet, as of the time of this video. But yes. Basically, go over there, make sure you do subscribe. A little like would also help for engagement. And hey, have you adventured in the Thanelands? Just let me know in the comments below, or your experience maybe in the lands of Linnorm Kings, as we can talk all about this. And of course, check out my social media for updates on my schedule, what's going on, and all the uploads and, upload schedule. And until the next time, I bid all of you out there a deep and wonderful farewell.